Hi everybody. So I've been wanting to play with the Dyalogs for a while now. I've actually had some, oh my goodness, for probably a couple of years maybe. I've had some and haven't really done anything with it. Like I've had a black one and a couple plain ones and a lined one. And the only thing I have done is I've written some quotes in here. Other than that, I haven't really used it yet because I don't know. I know I'm probably being silly, but I want to really like what I choose to use it for, and I want to pick something that I'm actually going to do and keep up with, and for it to be useful, not to do it just for the sake of playing with a dialogue system. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want it to actually be useful to me and helpful. So today, the new ones came in the mail for me. So that is this beautiful cover. I just, honestly, like, I love both, but I so wish this was the outside. I just really, really, really love this. But I love polka dots too. But I don't know, there's just something about the colored stripes. I just really love it. And I like the quote, and I don't know. Really love it. So I have the cover and then the, what would you call this, or media paper, but with the dots and then the black dots. I have to tell you, this feels so smooth. It was the first thing I noticed when I opened it, is how nice and clean and smooth it looks. I know that's silly, but I just can't get over the feel of it. I love the black. And I love how there's dots in here, but it's not, it's like you can see them so they can be functional, but it's not like in your face. So if you wanted to use this for art, I really don't feel like the dots would be distracting. Like, I really don't. Like, if you didn't want to use it in a way where you needed to use the dots, I totally feel like you could get away with doing whatever you want in this one. But I mean, she does have the plain black, so you don't need to. And I just noticed, I think the paper feels different. Yeah, this feels more, I'm going to compare it to a journal. So here's her black journal. I feel like the paper feels smoother in this one. Thought it looked smaller too, but I think there's more paper in the plain one too. I don't know if she said that when, I don't remember, but the plain black is thicker than the dotted black, if that matters to you. Doesn't matter to me. But I feel like this paper in the black plain one is more like the art journal black paper. So anyways, distracted. And oh yes, I don't know what it is, but I just love her craft paper. It gets me so excited. Okay, so it was this one, this one, this one, the cover, and it was media paper with, oh no, background, because that's her media with the dots. And then this is the background, and I have to show you my favorite background in this book. I just love this. I think that looks so beautiful. So anyways, I'm trying to figure out, and I think I got these messed up. Oh well. I'm trying to figure out what I want to use each one for. And I have an old cover. This was the plain, like I haven't done the inside yet. So it's just the plain white ones that you can do whatever you want to them. So this is what I did. It was inspired by, well, first I was kind of inspired by this, like the stripes, and how I wish they were on the outside. So I did stripes on the outside. And then I actually did, you know, the rainbow. That's actually, it kind of looks more orange, but it's actually pure sunshine. So it's supposed to be red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. And I just repeated it. And then, let me see if I can find her. I'm pretty sure I know who it was. I don't want to say the name just in case I am wrong. I probably saved it in my inspiration. Ah, I don't think I did. That shocks me. And I had a picture. Okay, here we go. Ooh, it was the person I thought it was. Imperfectly Perfect. So that was hers. Because my first thoughts, I was going to do the whole entire thing stripes. And I was going to have them going this way. And then I saw this cover that she did, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I put my stripes vertical, and then I broke it up. Like I didn't do the this part the same. Like, well, none of it is the same as hers, but I got the inspiration of her stripes and then dividing it with that just loose line. And I didn't do the stitching the same, like it's not real stitches, it's painted, but I mimicked the idea with Diane's stencil. So there was a couple things that inspired this cover. Like I said, this one, Diane's cover, and then Imperfectly Perfect, her cover, which I think is gorgeous. So that's how I decided to do this one. I had no idea what I was going to do here. First I thought of leaving it black, then I thought of putting a quote there, but with it being a material, I didn't think I'd be able to write on it too easily, like nicely. So I do like how it turned out. I really like how it looked. I don't know if I took a picture. When I was painting the stripes, like I taped off some of the stripes. Like I taped this off and painted the stripes in between. So while part of it was white and then there was stripes, here we go. I really liked it. So I really think I like the stripes against the white. But then I added the circles and I didn't like it quite as much. I goofed on the blue stripe. I brought it down too far. And then I did the black and it was like, oh, I don't know. So I still don't know. I think I'll like it more once it gets that worn look and it doesn't look so clean and crisp. So I just painted some circles using her boulder. Yeah, large boulders. Yeah, that stencil. And then I took some of her other stencils and stenciled inside the circles. And then just took a white paint pen and doodled around the circles, but then I went back in with a paintbrush and white linen. So I may go back in here again and brighten up the white that's over the black. And I was watching Diane on her, I think it was her Instagram Live, maybe. No, it was on a video. I was watching it yesterday, but it might have been an old one and I was watching it. But she said she paints, she gives hers a coat of white paint before she goes in with her, you know, colors. But I didn't do that because I didn't hear it until after I had done mine. But I didn't find it hard to paint at all. I was surprised at how well and easily it took the paint. But anyways, then I added these beads, which I love. So it says make, but if I wanted to, I could, if I push them to the back, see if I can do this right, and then bring them, now I have to twist it a certain way and then put it on, and I can get the word learn, because if I twist it while it's there, then it's upside down. But I prefer the word make. So I think adding these beads to it made me love it that much more. And all I did to add the beads was I took this out. I'm going to show you the one that I don't have anything on. All you have to do is put that straight and push it through. And then I just threaded my beads on and put it back in. Easy peasy. So I'm thinking I'm going to have this one for more artsy type stuff, like, I don't know, like collage, doodles, whatever. And I think I'm going to use this one more like, I don't want to say planning, but I think I'm going to use this one as like an agenda tracker kind of thing, where I'm going to do a few somewhat bullet journal style things in it. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to use this one for. And then I saw Diane use, she posted on Instagram yesterday or today that she's using her new dot black one for fonts or quotes, one of it. I think it was her fonts. And I thought that was a great idea. So I'm going to use it for different style fonts maybe that come into my mind. And the craft, I'm just going to do whatever. I think I'm going to kind of like use it like a journal, like an art journal kind of thing. These are so stiff when they're new, by the way. So I think I'm just going to, you know, stencil, stamp, maybe collage, whatever. Anything and everything that's arty. And the same with the backgrounds. That one's going to be art as well. So art, fonts, and agenda. That's what I'm going to use the new ones for. And I'm going to use this cover for the arty stuff. And this one for the more, I don't know what to call it, because in my mind it's still kind of arty, but it's also like plannerish, organizing, that kind of stuff. So I think in that one I will put the agenda, my font practicing, the quotes because it's like a reference, like if I'm looking for a quote. Same thing with the fonts, like that will be kind of like a reference. And then this plain black one is going to be for doodles, like, you know, stamping or using her stencils. You know how everybody does the black and white, like black paper, white pen doodles? I've been wanting to do that, so that's what I'm going to use this one for. So that will go with my art one. So I have left a plain, a lined, and a plain. And one thing I really want to do, and I don't know if this is going to work, and it scares me, but these agendas, or dialogues, they're not very expensive. So if I wreck it, I can use the paper some way. It'll get used because it's great paper, and I can use it to make mini albums or for stamping images on. It'll get used. So what I would like to do is take apart one of these planes, and not this one because I really love the cover. I'm going to leave that one. So one of the planes and this lined one, I want to, I'm even scared saying it. I'm going to take the stitching out of both of them, and I'm going to mix the papers. So it's plain line, and make two books that way. So it'll still have the same number of papers in it, or might be off by one. And what I was thinking I would like to do is, if I have the plain, and then it's like next to a lined piece of paper. Like I know when I turn the page I'm going to have two lines together, and then I'm going to have two planes together. But where it's a plain and a line, I like to add kind of like a memory keeper kind of thing where I can actually add more journaling in it. So like a picture that has a funny story or has some meaning to me, or something that happened that I want to make sure I remember. I would like to glue down the pictures and then write about what happened, but I would like all that to be in one. And I know I could just glue the picture on the lined paper, but I don't know, for some reason I want to mix them. So that is what I'm going to do, or try to do, in this video. So you're going to witness me trying to take this apart without destroying the pages and the cover, because I want to reuse it all. So I'm just picking my knife under the thread, and I cut it, and then I'm just pulling it out, because I don't want to rip the pages out, because I want them to stay intact, and I want the holes to be in the same spot. So the thing is, I don't know if I'm going to attempt to sew this with a sewing machine or if I'm going to do it by hand. If I do it by my sewing machine, I'm afraid it's going to be too thick and too hard to get in the same holes. If I do it by hand, well, first of all, I hate the idea of doing it by hand. And I'm afraid that I won't be able to get it tight enough. So I really think I'm going to give it a shot with the sewing machine first. So maybe try the spacing out on a scrap piece of paper or something first before I take the book to it. If I can even do it. I don't know if I could, because that's pretty darn thick. So I may not be able to do it. I may have no other choice but to do it by hand. out. There we go. It's all out, and there's a cover, and I'm going to reuse the cover. Just need to divide the pages up. So I'm going to do the same thing with the plain one. I'm making sure to just get under the thread and not to gouge the paper. Oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. I'm going to start with, see how many there are, I don't know. So it's 12, which, I mean, you fold it's 24. So I'm assuming that one has the same. Ooh. So I'm just going to alternate and going back and forth. So I'll have 6 plain and 6 lined. There's one of each left. See why I feel like I'm not going to be able to get that stitching as good as, it's just not going to be as good. I think they made these so it actually fits a certain way. You know what I mean? Maybe. Yeah, they did. Like all the pages are at the same length. They're made so that when they close, they line up properly. Like, you know what I mean? Like right now, if I close it, that middle's sticking out way further. That's because if I open them up, it actually is longer. I don't know if you can see how it's longer. So it's meant to be at the back. And that one's longer still. And that one's okay. Has the right number, and the pages are a bit better. So now I would have 2 books that alternate between lined and plain. They don't line up perfectly, but I mean, really, that doesn't matter. So now for the scary part. Figuring out how to sew it. I mean, like I said, you're gonna get where, like right here, I have two playing together. So I thought I started with line, that way I can, if I want to write something like an introduction or whatever, or maybe I can write a bit and then add the picture. And then the next one, I'm kind of like adding the picture and then writing about it. Yeah. Does it really matter? So we'll see if I actually like that. Just kind of making me wonder if I should only put one together and see how I enjoy it. So I may do that. I think I'm only going to sew one and leave the other one just in case I'm not fond of that, and then I can change it. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to decide to sew it. So I'm going to try something here. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm going to poke my needle through the first hole of every... That's my cat. The first hole of every page, so I have it lined up properly. That way maybe the holes will be lined up better. Maybe I should have did it with a needle that I didn't want to use first. Because if that needle is through the first hole on all the pages, then the holes should be lined up. Should be. So I'm using a bookbinding kit, but I think this stuff is way too thick. So I'm just going to get thread that I would use in my sewing machine. And I have nice colored stuff, but it's not good thread. So I'm going to grab my black because I know that is good thread and it's strong. I'm stressing out, you guys. Maybe this needle is slightly thicker though, which is why I didn't use it. I may just do it. I'm going to do it in the middle to hopefully keep the pages lined up. Okay, I had to walk away for a bit because I was getting frustrated. And now I can't see. Oh, I thought I had the needle in part way, but I must have let it go. So I'm going to feed a needle through the holes in the middle of the pages just to try and keep everything lined up. So I keep making sure I'm actually going through the right hole. So I'm hoping if I do this, let's see, that one's not right, it needs to go down one more, then it'll be easier for me to thread the book because the holes should be lined up. Fingers crossed, people. I think I'm going to probably wants to double my thread to make it stronger. I'm afraid I'll get it tangled. I'm gonna try it. Keeps getting tangled, then I'll start over and only do it single. So I noticed in the Dyalogs that it looked like they probably started a couple holes down and went up and then went all the way down through, because I'm guessing it was done with like a heavy duty sewing machine. And so, you know how you backtrack, you do a few back stitches when you start and when you finish to make sure the stitching doesn't come undone. So that is what I'm going to do. And I'm actually going to start somewhere in there so it's a little less noticeable. So I just started a few holes down and like in the middle of my pages. I'm going up to the next hole. I am not feeling confident about. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to go up. See, now that hole I think I did with my sewing machine. So I'm going to ignore that one and go back down. Gonna try. Does not want to go through. Which is telling me the holes are not lined up properly. There we go. Okay, so while I have that through, I'm going to prick myself with a needle. So I clamped it, hoping I may have to do this off camera because I may say some words. Yeah, my thread got screwed up there a little, but I'm gonna keep going. So this is again why I didn't want to double thread, but as long as you keep checking it, it's not too bad. I have a hard time seeing the hole. I can tell where it's supposed to be, but ooh, that went through easier, so I think I may have my holes lined up good. So I'm going to keep backtracking as I go instead of going all the way down and then going all the way up again. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but it is what I am going to do. I can see my thread went through because it had been on the other, in this inside of the book. So I'm just going to loop. I'm going to put my needle through there and carry it with me as I go. Going down to the next. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm going down the hole, coming out, and I'm backtracking. So it's going through every single one. So I'm going to finish that up, and I'll come back when I'm almost done all the holes. Okay, so I'm just finishing up. I'm coming up the last hole. I've done just enough thread. Knotted. I'm going to go up again. And once those holes, sorry, once the holes were lined up properly, it really was a lot easier to do. But I hate hand sewing. Like my thumbs, like right here, it is so cramped up. I don't like to do this because it really hurts me. But it is almost done. Like I said, I'm just going over the last few holes. And then, instead of going through all of them, I'm going to try and come out. I don't know if I can do it without, oh, there we go, and tie my knot. And then I'm going to go out through the next hole. I'm going to try. It's hard to show this stuff on camera. I have a hard time with it anyway. Just going down the next hole and trying to go out. There we go. And then I'm going to cut my thread. So it's not perfect like this, like, you know how the pages are all nice and lined up, because I'm sure they got out of order and stuff, because I'm sure they probably sew them and then had this amazing cutter that evens it all up. But for it being taken apart and put back together, like, that's pretty darn good. I'm impressed. That's the middle. So it's probably not as neat. You can't see the thread on that one. Some of them they use colored thread. This one is blue. I don't know if you can see a thread on that one. So one had pink thread, but I think that's the one I took apart. Yeah. That's theirs. They did single thread. They didn't double up their thread like I did. So that alone made it look neater. But with me doing it by hand, I wanted to be safe. And honestly, I'm impressed. I thought I would do a much worse job. So now I have a mixture of plain and lined paper. And my hopes, well, I'm asking for a photo printer for Christmas. I used to have one, but it no longer works. It's pretty old. So if you have any recommendations, you can leave it in the comments down below. I want a photo printer that takes 4x6 photo paper. I don't need anything bigger than that. Because I have tons and tons and tons of 4x6 photo paper already from my other one, because whenever I would buy ink, it would just automatically come with the paper as well. So I have more photo paper than I'll probably use ever. So I would like it to take the 4x6 paper, but have the options of printing, like on the one sheet, printing 2 2x3s or 4, what would it be, 1x2s? I may be wrong, but I'm getting tired now. I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, the only printer I can think of that I've heard people talk about is I think Canon Selfie, and I've heard Diane talk about Sprocket, but I think the Sprocket only does like little tiny ones, like the Instax, and I have an Instax, but that's not what I'm looking for. I want, you know, like I explained. So anyway, that's put together. Yay! And yes, I got the Tim Holtz glass mat, and I'm actually keeping stuff off of it. It's very surprising. But so far, it's doing what I wanted it to do, which was to keep a workspace available. But anyway, getting off topic. So I'm going to put this together how I think I'm going to use it. So, thinking I would like my agenda in the beginning, and then my picture with the journaling, and then I don't think I really care which goes first in the fonts and quotes. So I'm going to need some elastics. I'm just putting that in the center of that one. Diane has shown this many times, so I'm sure you all know how to do it. Then you open to the middle of that one and slide that in. Do you find it gets twisted a little? There we go. And then you take that and put it under your first elastic. So you have those two books. And then I'm going to do one for quotes and the one for fonts. And then slide that under that one. And for this one, gonna need one. So for this, I think I want maybe black and then separate it with an art and then craft, doodles, art, art. Oh, I have another plain one, right? Yeah. Don't know what I'm going to use that one for, but I'm going to put that in there. Ooh, they all look nice together. That worked out well. Take my doodle. And the art. And I am going to eventually do the inside of this book too. I'm just not sure how I want to do it yet. Okay, so that puts 4 dialogues in each one. If you wanted, you could have 2 more dialogues in here. You could put another one here, like you would, and this one's not sewn together, but you would just take that elastic and feed your book through there. I think 6 is a little cramped. I'm happy with 4. So this one will be my art 1. That's how I want it. And this one will be more of my tracking and reference type dialogue. Yay! Thanks so much for stopping by. Let me know if you like my videos by leaving me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also head over to my Instagram account and say hi to me over there. If you have any video requests, leave a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. And don't forget to check out my other videos.